What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nikki. If you are new, this is Life with Nick, and I do videos on business, lifestyle, and fashion. So today I am back with yet another Atlanta edition video. Today I'm here to give you guys some pointers on how to find an apartment or how to find a home for sale here in Georgia. So I'm here to talk about just where to look, what steps that you might need to take if you are someone who is in the market. But before we get into the video, if you guys have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and let's begin. Okay, so in this video, I'm just gonna give you guys some pointers as to where you should look website-wise, or just what actions that you need to take if you are someone who is on the market for an apartment, a house, whatever it is that you are looking for here in Georgia. So these are steps that I found necessary, steps that I found helpful, and I'm also going to mention a few things that you should not do, just because I feel like I have been kind of led astray by some of the websites that I've come across. Not a lot of them don't have the most accurate information on them, so I'm just here to tell you guys as to what you should do. So first, we are going to go into the main step. I feel like this is something that everybody should do whenever you are planning a trip out of town, regardless if you've been there before or not. And that is to actually book a trip and stay in that place and actually tour apartments for a couple of days. So I find it helpful to be, if you plan on moving here, maybe just a weekend trip. It doesn't have to be anything too long. Maybe book a weekend trip Monday through Sunday and just book some slots, you know what I mean? Book some apartment tours. You don't even have to book for most places here. Usually you can just walk in and get a tour, but actually physically come here and look around within different suburbs that you actually have, caught your attention. I think that is like the most helpful, because it's nothing better than seeing something in person. And then there's also nothing better than actually getting the information from the complex itself. It's super easy to call, you know what I mean, or look on the website. But I feel like physically going into the apartment complex, that's when you usually get like the most accurate information. And then not only that, you're actually able to see the physical apartment itself. You don't want to move into an apartment that you've never actually seen before. That's just, you know what I mean? I know people do it. But it's just a risk, you know what I mean? Nothing is really like what it seems. You can see something online and it could be a lot smaller or a lot dirtier or whatever than it is in person. I know I found that a lot of apartments here catfish, to be honest. Like, you might think that it looks one certain way, but when you go, like, the neighborhood is completely different and it's just a hot mess. So book that weekend trip here to Georgia if you are someone who plans on moving here, just because it's nothing like the physical thing and getting that actual accurate information. And then that way you can make you a little list of the apartments that you did like, get a breakdown of the pricing, and all the questions that you basically have will be answered in person. So if you're not able to travel, you know what I mean, you don't have that option, or you just can't afford it, because I know that happens sometimes, then I feel like the next best step is to check out Zillow.com. So Zillow.com is basically a home app. You look on there, you can find different houses, apartments, condos, townhouses, and whether that be for rent or if you're looking for someone, you're someone who's looking to actually buy a house. So Zillow.com is honestly my best friend. You can look at it online, like Google it, or I would say the best way to do it is the app. On the app, you know what I mean, you can go ahead and filter your settings, so you can see like, hey, this is the minimum that I want to pay, and this is the maximum. You can filter the bedrooms, the baths, the area, water included. You can filter pretty much anything on Zillow.com. And I love Zillow.com because it's probably the most accurate app. There are some apps out there that aren't that accurate, but Zillow.com is actually extremely accurate. And then not only do they have all of those things, you can also go ahead and, reach out to the realtor of that house, or reach out to that company, or reach out to that complex. They have all of their updated information on there. So you can also schedule a tour on Zillow, on that Zillow app. So I would say definitely go ahead and check out Zillow. I stay on the Zillow app. I know I'll be on there sometimes looking at $500,000 houses, like houses that I know I cannot afford, but it's accurate. And they have houses on there that are for sure for rent and for sure for sale. I know that there's been a couple of other websites, like I said before, that aren't that accurate. You know what I mean? They'll have houses and apartments on the website that, have already been sold or whatever. But Zillow, they'll literally notify you like, hey, this house that you have in your likes have been sold. And I'll be so hurt when that happens, because I'll be like, you know, like, even though I knew I wasn't about to be able to buy this house no time soon, there was still that possibility. So I'd be kind of hurt by that. But anyways, regardless to it all, check out Zillow.com. Next, we're going to talk about Truly, whatever. I'm gonna put it right here because I don't think I'm pronouncing it well. But if you know what I'm talking about. Truly is a app just like Zillow. It literally has all the same things that Zillow has, all the same stuff that I mentioned, and it is also accurate. So like I said, I'll leave the name right here and also leave the website in the description box so you guys can go ahead and check Zillow and Truly out. Okay. All right, so if you've already done all of those things, another option that you have is to actually Google apartments in a certain area. I feel like that's like the most simplest step that most people take, but go ahead and Google. So for example, if you want to move to Buckhead, go ahead and Google apartments in Buckhead, and then literally there's a list of apartments that will come down to you on Google. And then what you have to do is just go on their website or give them a call and ask them like, hey, how much is your rent right now? And just an FYI, rent prices change every day. So if somebody tells you on Monday, hey, this apartment is $1,350, then you might call on Friday and it may be completely different. It might be lower, it may be higher, but rent prices change every day. So, you know, just because it's a price today doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. But go on Google and Google apartments in Buckhead, apartments in Marietta, apartments in Stone Mountain, because they're going to give you a list, you know what I mean? And then they'll also recommend some websites that you can look at, and usually Zillow and Truly will come up under that. But I feel like that's the simplest thing. I know that that's something my dad did when he was looking for his house. And a lot of people that I know, they found their apartments that way just by simply Googling it. And I feel like that's a nice, easy step. You know, you can have your list in front of you or whatever and just have the prices written down. If you're someone who's more of like a visual person, I feel like that may be an easier thing for you just because you can actually write it down and have it like the paper in front of you or whatever. But go ahead and Google the apartments near you. I found that helpful while I was on my apartment search, to just go ahead and just Google stuff. Another option that you have, if you want to get fancy with it, is to actually get a realtor. So this is usually what people do if they're looking for a house. You know, like they'll hire somebody to actually look out in the market. They'll give them, the realtor will give them a quote or whatever of what they can afford after looking at their credit, looking at their income and all that adult stuff. So well, a realtor is another option that you have. So if you're someone who's on the market for a house, get a realtor. You know what I mean? They do all the dirty work for you instead of you having to go out and look on Zillow and Truly or Google or just going out and about and getting numbers to houses. They'll do that for you. And the job for them is easy just because they know what you can and you cannot afford. So you're not going to be making what, $40,000 a year and they're trying to find you a $500,000 house. They're going to be realistic about it. Like, hey, you may be able to afford $150,000 house or something lower or whatever it is that you make. They'll be able to be real with you. Like they'll humble you and be like, look, this is what you can and cannot afford, basically. So get you a realtor. I know that that's something that I want to do when I start my home buying process. I know I want to get a home within like the next 2 or 3 years, whenever it is that I finish my grad program. I definitely want to get a house like right after that because, you know, it's tired of an apartment. So look for a realtor, you know what I mean, if you are on the market for that. So now we're going to talk about the final step, which is NACA first-time home buyer program. So NACA, I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of it before if you guys have done your research or if you live in Georgia or any participating states. NACA is a first-time home buyer program. And what NACA basically does is it pushes you through all the steps. Like it gives you a counselor, which is kind of like another realtor. And that counselor tells you like, hey, we know your credit score. We know your income. We know your income to debt ratio. We're going to, you know, tell you what you cannot afford and what you can afford. And then we're going to help you find that. So the NACA program is extremely helpful. I know I'm actually participating in it right now. I've literally only done like the first step. It takes like a year to do all of the steps, but I actually did go to the little group meeting or whatever, and I have my appointment with my counselor in November, which is next month, so that's so exciting. But NACA is extremely helpful. You know, if you Google it or YouTube it, you'll see a lot of people with their testimonies or whatever, but they help you. They'll actually give you money to put a down payment. That way you don't have to save up for a down payment. They'll tell you everything as far as how much your taxes are going to be on the house, how much your monthly mortgage is going to be, all that juicy stuff. And what you basically have to do is just tell them, like, this is the areas that I prefer. These are the areas that I do not prefer. They already know what you can afford and they'll help you with the rest. Like they do all of the hard stuff basically. And I do want to make a video about that soon, just the overall like NACA process, because I feel like that would be helpful because there are a lot of people out there that want to buy homes. I'll talk about that in another video, but check out NACA if you are someone who wants to buy a home and you are a first-time home buyer, so that they can help you with the actual steps of getting that done. I'll also leave the website for NACA in the description box below. But hopefully I have someone out there, you know, if you are on your apartment or house journey to find something in Georgia, you know what I mean? You really just have to do your research. It's really about just taking the time and sitting down and actually wanting to get it done, because there are ways to get it done. I will say though that Georgia, they are going up in their prices just because a lot of people are moving here and the houses and the apartments are at such a high demand. And of course they're taking advantage of it. Welcome to America. But, you know, go ahead and just do your research, but also just be realistic with yourself. Because I know me, I go way over what my budget is when it comes to pretty much everything. So if I'm looking at something, like I said, I look at houses that are $500,000 knowing good and well I can't afford it. So just be realistic with yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like that kind of speeds up the process of you being able to get what you actually want and what you actually need. Because a lot of times, you know, we don't need those 6-bedroom houses that we're looking for. We don't need those mansions that we want so bad. You know what I mean? Just be realistic and build so that someday that you can actually have that. But hopefully I help someone out there, you know what I mean? Go ahead and get those apartments. Go ahead and get those houses. Definitely want to go ahead and make some more videos about this process, because I know how hard it can be, especially if you are in your teens or your early 20s or even mid 20s, 30s. I feel like it really doesn't have an age on it. Not everybody has access to these resources and access to this information to be able to go get an apartment or go get a house. So that's what I am here for. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be a realtor on a budget. So if you guys have not already done so, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.